Hello, welcome to the parents meeting for Year 5. This PowerPoint really is just to give you a little bit of extra information about who is working with your child in Year 5 at the moment, what sort of things we'll be learning between now and Christmas, just a reminder of expectations to do with uniform, homework, behaviour, what to do if you need to go on extended leave or your child is ill. At the end, I'll be talking about Parents' Evening and how that's going to be different due to the COVID-19 restrictions, and I'll also explain how you can get in touch with us if you have any questions. So, I'm sure you've met all of us by now. I'm Mrs. Oliver and I'm the Year Group Leader for Year 5. Mr. Dyche and Mr. Hare are the class teachers and they work most of the time with your children. We're really lucky this year. We also have Miss Wynne, who's a student teacher, and we have Miss Senior and Mrs. Hussain, who are learning support assistants within Year 5. So actually there's quite a lot of different adults who are working with your child. I'm sure by now you're really aware of what our structure is in school, but just to quickly recap, in Years 4, 5 and 6 we actually have 3 teachers. The reason we do that is because research suggests that smaller class sizes mean that children can make a lot more progress. So in a morning for English and Maths, the children are split into mixed ability classes, and that might mean they have a different teacher to whoever their class teacher is. We also have a small focus group going on, so for those children who need a little bit more support, maybe new to school or new to English, they come into the focus group and they get some targeted work for them. In the afternoon, the children go back to whole class. They will be back in their class of 30. And 2 teachers will teach, and the 3rd teacher will then be free to do what we call interventions. So if a child has struggled with a concept in maths or English in the morning, in the afternoon they can spend some extra time with the teacher, really making sure that they understand the learning from that morning. And this approach has proven that children are making a lot more progress when they have those opportunities to come away from class for a little while and work one-to-one with the teacher. In terms of our curriculum, we have a topic-based curriculum. So that means we have a question or a topic and all of the learning is based around that. So for the next half term, we're going to be asking the question, where does chocolate come from? And that directly links to a history topic, which is the Mayans. So all of our English learning, our art, our history, our geography will all be based around the Mayans, so that the children can really get immersed in the learning. Our class novel is Trash by Andy Mulligan, so that's the main piece of text that your child will be reading. In Maths, we're going to continue to teach through the Maths No Problem scheme, which I'm sure you're used to seeing by now. So in Maths, the children start with an in-focus problem. They will have a go at answering that problem independently. We will then work through different strategies and different methods to use. They will also have the opportunity to practice with partners before they fill in a workbook. Also for Maths, your child has a Maths journal, so that is really their space to personalise and write down any thoughts they have, any notes from the lesson, and to show their learning in their own way. We introduced the Maths No Problem scheme a couple of years ago, and so far it's been really effective, and children are getting a deeper understanding of maths, which is absolutely brilliant. So, expectations. Children are expected to wear full school uniform at all times, and that does mean black shoes and not trainers. If sometimes we understand there might be a reason your child can't wear black shoes for the day, that's absolutely fine. But if you ring Mrs. Salim at the school and let her know the reason why you're wearing trainers, and then your child won't be getting into any trouble at school. On a Monday we have PE, and it's really important that your child is wearing the correct PE kit. So our PE kit at Deeplish is a white shirt, black bottoms and white PE pumps or trainers. At the moment, due to the COVID restrictions, we're asking the children to just come into school wearing their PE kit. This means that we don't have lots of bags and things from home, and also we're not having to mix children getting them changed and things like that. As much as we can, we are doing PE outside, even in the winter, so please make sure your child is wearing something warm and comfortable on those days. Also a little reminder, mostly for the girls, please don't be wearing jewellery. So we've noticed a lot of children coming in necklaces and earrings. Those do need to be removed for PE. And anybody with long hair needs to be wearing their hair up, not just on PE days, but all the time. We do expect children to be wearing a bobble if they have long hair. Homework. Homework's changed a little bit this year. We're still expecting the children to do a learning log, which is a piece of homework that's set every 2 weeks. However, it's now going to be available on Teams for your child. In school, we have given your children Teams passwords, and we've also spent several lessons teaching your child how to use Teams. We do not want any paper homework in school at the minute, again due to the COVID restrictions. So it's really important that your child is completing the homework, and we can also give them feedback via Teams. The reason we want to use Teams so much as well is if we end up having to isolate again, then your child has practiced using Teams and they know how to use it. As usual, if you don't complete your homework, then your child will miss his or her dinner time. And we're also introducing something called Reading Eggs and Mathletics. Once we have more information on that, we will share it to you. But that's just additional to help your child with their reading and their maths. On a Friday, we also have spellings. So we will give your child spellings to practice for the week. They need to make sure they have their spelling book in on a Friday, and that's when they will have their spelling test. Just a quick note on reading. I know most of you are brilliant at this. Please make sure you're reading with your child as much as you can at home, preferably daily. And when you have read, please just sign the reading record, especially every weekend. At least once a week is brilliant. We will check that the reading records have been signed by parents or guardians, and if your child reads in school, we will also sign that ourselves. It's really good to highlight any keywords and ask questions about the books that they're reading, as well as just listening to the child physically read. And when your child brings their book back to school, we will quarantine that book, and then after 72 hours it will go back on the bookshelf. So your child will be able to get a new book straight away. But any books that are returned are quarantined, so you don't need to worry about books that have been in other people's homes and things like that. We make sure everything's been quarantined and is safe to go back out. Obviously, at Deeplish, we have really high expectations of behaviour. Our behaviour policy is the respect policy, which the children are really aware of. And to be honest, we've not had any problems in Year 5 so far. But we do expect the children to be really respectful and sensible during free times and during lesson times. If there are any issues, your child may miss a break time. It may be that we contact you either at the end of the day or give you a quick phone call. And, in worst case scenario, we will exclude children from school trips. But hopefully we won't have anybody having that happen to them this year. So we obviously expect parents to be involved in their children's education. We know that education is a two-way process, so we do ask you to really support us with the home reading, with the homework, ensuring your child is in school on time in the morning with the correct uniform. If you ever have any queries or concerns, you can always come and speak to us at the end of the day at home time, or you can call the school office and we'll be happy to help you with anything that you need help with. At the moment, there will not be any extended leave authorised, so after 5 days off, a penalty notice will be issued. If a child is absent from school for more than 20 days, then they will be taken off roll and their place will be allocated to another child. We do always have a waiting list at Deeplish for children who want to attend our school, so it's really important that extended leave isn't being taken during school time. If there is an issue with continuous poor attendance, then the welfare officer will be contacted and there'll have to be a meeting with the Rochdale Local Authority and our Chair of Governors. If you are told to isolate due to COVID-19, then it's really important that you call the office and let us know. And if there is a problem with a positive test in your family, then if you also let school know, and we can tell you what the next steps are. A quick note on school dinners. If you decide your child wants to swap from school dinners to packed lunches, that's absolutely fine, but it can only be done at the beginning of a half term if possible. We understand there's those odd days when you might need a school dinner in a bit of an emergency, but it's really important that we keep it to a half term so our kitchen can order the right amount of food. Obviously, we've thrown a lot of information at you there, so if you do have any questions about this PowerPoint or anything your child is learning in school, please don't hesitate to get in touch with us. You can either speak to myself or your child's class teacher at home time, or you can phone the school office and we will get back to you as soon as we can. The last thing I wanted to mention just before the end of this meeting is that Parents' Evening has to be conducted slightly differently this year. Obviously, due to the current restrictions, we can't have lots of parents in school, and so what will happen is you will receive a form asking for a convenient time, and your child's class teacher will give you a phone call, and we'll have a quick discussion around your child's learning. These phone calls will only be 5 minutes long. Obviously, we've got lots of children to to speak to and lots of parents to speak to. If we need a further discussion after the 5 minutes is up, then we'll arrange a time to have a further discussion and a longer phone call. But that's how Parents' Evening is going to work this year. So in a couple of weeks, you will be getting a form just asking you a preference of time. Thank you very much for taking the time to watch this PowerPoint. I appreciate it's slightly different to the way things normally work, and I hope that you've managed to get all the information you need from this meeting. But as I said before, if there's anything you're concerned about or anything you're unsure about, please just get in touch with us in school. Thank you very much.